Yeah, definitely. So please welcome Fabien. And please, just watch at the t-shirt. I mean, it's just amazing.
And look at the stickers on his laptop too. They're so cute.
So the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me correctly? Yeah? No? Yeah. Now? No? No? Now? Yeah, perfect. So, finger crossed, it's pure love demo. Okay. How many of you are doing web scrapings? Please raise your hand. How many of you use data? Please all raise your hand, please. Thank you very much. So I'm Fabien Vauchelles, and I've been enthusiastic about web scraping for years. So my enthusiasm led me to understand the fascinating world of proxy and anti-bot systems. I work at Wireman, an amazing company specializing in revenue management within the transportation industry. Our work at Wiremines involves handling millions of prices on a daily basis, which requires substantial investments. Also, they have a strong commitment in the open source community because they sponsor my project, Scrapoxy. So, what's Scrapoxy all about? Scrapoxy is an open source proxy aggregators. It allows you to manage and route traffic through cloud provider and proxy services. It supports major cloud providers like GCP, Azure, AWS, and also proxy services like Zeit, IP Royal, Rayobyte, and many others. So before we dive into this amazing product, I would like to share with you a little story. So enter Isabella. Isabella is a final year student in IT school. She has a brilliant mind, has a lot of energy, and a thirst for travel. Every year, she embarks for a 1-month backpacking journey to a random country. But here is a twist. It takes her a lot of time to organize this trip. It consumes her an entire year to organize this just 1-month trip. So she couldn't help but notice there is a gap in the market. How in 2024, where there wasn't such a tool with AI, with digital world to create this kind of trip? It could be a ticket to this kind of business, a ticket to a successful business. So to do that, she understands that she needs a vast amount of data, a lot of data. And this vast amount of data will help to train the large language model to curate her ultimate trip. But she's a total newcomer into the web scraping industry. How to collect massive amounts of data in a single day. So she decided to focus her effort on accommodations. So let me introduce you the website she decided to scrap, trackreview.com. So I will connect on this website. So TrackReview is your go-to spot for checking out accommodation for any cities that you want to explore. You can enter the city and you will get the list of accommodations. So if Isabella is dreaming about Paris, she will get 50 accommodations. And she can click on one accommodation and get the name, descriptions, the contact, location, and also the review. Isabella is interested in review. It's all about analyzing those reviews to extract what the customer thinks about the accommodations. So this website also is super secure. There are different levels of protections you need to bypass, but we will see that later. First, let me open the Chrome inspectors. So the Chrome inspector allows you to have more understandable of the website. So if I'm going back to the home page, if I'm searching information, going back to one hostel, I've got a lot of information. So going to a website is like having a big packet delivery at your doorstep. You have HTML, design with CSS style sheet, script to execute code, animations, and a lot of images. So let me simpler what we are seeing. So I can filter only on HTML. So what you are seeing is that we are starting from the home page, so it's /level1. We can go also on city, so it's the list of city. It's like the flipping pages of a catalog. You have multiple pages, so if you want to navigate, it's called paginations. And if you go to an hotel, you got /hotel/the ID, and you will get all the details. If I'm going on the response, I will get the HTML with all the information, especially I can have the comments here and the rating. But as you see, Isabella is a total newcomer. So she cannot, and she doesn't want to handle manually the re-questioning, the HTML parsing, the retry, all the errors that can happen, and extract the items. So to do that, she will use a very famous framework, and this framework is named Scrapoxy. So let me get back on the website. Hop. Perfect. So Scrapoxy is a Python framework, an open source Python framework, very well known in the web scraping industry. It's under all the HTML parsing, the re-questioning, the retry, the cookies, the concurrency, everything. And it's maintained by a large community. Scrapoxy runs spiders. A spiders is responsible for handling all the logic for one website. You start with defining the request that you want to get, so here, and when you got the response, you analyze the response, you use a special tool which is the CSS selectors, and you can get the hotel name here. So let's move to a real example. So here I've got my spider. It's the same, little bit complex. So I define the concurrency request with 16 to be a little bit quicker. I'm starting with the home page. When I've got the result, I'm going to the list of items. When I've got the list of items, first I will follow the navigation and loop on the same functions. And next, I will just parse the hotel links. When I've got the information about hotel links, I will extract the hotel name, the email, and the reviews. So that's it. It's very simple. Let's run this spider. So it's very fast, as you see, and I've got my 50 items. Yes. Thank you very much. That wasn't so hard. And you can see here, I've got the result in a structured way, so the name, email, every reviews. Of course, most of websites have protection. Here, there is no protection. You can find some website without protection, but major websites have a lot of protections. So I will move to the next level. So it's the same website, but with one protections. So if I'm going back running the spiders, here I didn't have any items, and I've got an error, unknown browsers. It is because when you are connected to a website, the browser is sending a lot of information. So I can check out what are these information are. Here, if I'm going onto the request, I've got response header, but I've got also request headers. And in request header, I've got something known, it's on the bottom, user agent. So your browser is just saying, hey, I'm Scrappy, please let me in. And the doorman say, no way. So what I will do is to change that. But of course, there is not only one user agent's headers. There is also other headers. So if you are using random user agents on your request, you will be also banned. So I need also to use these other user agents. So there is a sexch, UA, and so on. I will use that on my spider. So let me get back on this, and I will use the user agent. Thank you, Copilot. So I've got also default request header. If it's working, it's not the right one. I will cheat a little bit and get the default header. So just copy paste on this part. OK. So I've got a user agent. It's like a Chrome on Windows, and I've got the associated headers. So if I'm starting again these spiders, now all the requests are working, and I've got my 50 items. That's nice. So now it's time to move to the next levels. So there is another difficulty now. And as you see, I cannot retrieve any items. I only have 5. And I've got too many requests, etc. It's because I'm doing the request only from this computer. So I've got only one IP address. I need many computers, many IP addresses. And to do that, I need what I'm calling proxy. So what are proxy? It's system on internet which can relay your request to the server. So the server will only see this proxy. And the server doesn't know there is only one scrapper, but he will see multiple customers. So first type of proxy that you can find is data center proxy. So it's like if you're starting VM on Amazon and you just install a proxy software on it. It will relay the informations. You can start many. It's very fast and cheap. But the issue is that IP addresses are associated to IP range, and IP range belongs to autonomous system numbers. And Amazon have a lot of autonomous system numbers. And you can track back this information. So from the IP address, you can get the name of the autonomous system number, which can be simply Amazon. So you can be blocked. But there is a trick. There is the ISP proxy, so Internet Service Provider Proxy. It's quite the same. So it's virtual machine on cloud, but they don't use IP address from the data centers. They will use IP address from Verizon or mobile provider, Internet Service Providers. It's because you can rent an IP range from Verizon, and they will sell you for a lot of dollars. It's very expensive. But you can set up your server with this IP address. And you will be mixed between other mobile or internet box. So it's practically undetectable by anti-bot systems. And there is a last tip of proxy, which is residential proxy. So how does it work? The IP address comes from your laptop or your device, your mobile device. Let me give you an example. So you are a developer, you are developing an application, and you want to monetize these applications. You have many options. First option is selling subscriptions. So you sell a subscription, it unlocks features. That's fine. Second option is to use advertising. So you have an ad at the bottom of the application, or perhaps you force the user to see the ad to unlock some features. But there is a last option, and perhaps you don't know. You share the bandwidth of the users, of course with user agreement, but you share the bandwidth. And that's where the IP address from residential network comes from. So now, let me show you how we can plug Scrapoxy to our scrapper to bypass the rate limit. So if I'm getting back to my spiders, I will just modify the settings. I will add a download middleware, so it's already ready. I will add also some configuration and credentials. I love Copilot. The password is not the right one, so I have to set up Scrapoxy this time. To start Scrapoxy, you just open a terminal, open a Docker command line, so I've got one ready, and you start Scrapoxy in a second. So now I can connect to Scrapoxy UI. So it's very secure, it's admin password, but you can set up on the command lines. And here I've got one project. On this project, you can add as many connectors as you want. There is a marketplace, you can add data center, ISP proxy, residential proxy, whatever you want. Imagine that you want to add AWS. You just enter the 2 credential line, and Scrapoxy will handle all the magic for you. So the installation, the start and stop, everything. I've got just one address connector. I will start this one. And it's connecting to my API, address API, and starting all the proxy. There wasn't any proxy, but now I've got 10 proxy. You've got the name of the virtual machine, the status, many statistics about the traffic, the requests, and finally, you will get the IP address of the systems. So here, I've got many IP addresses from data center in Dublin, and you can see the flag and the geo informations. I can confirm with the coverage. So yes, it's based in Dublin, and I can have also some metrics. So let me get back. Oh, I need my credentials for sure. So I've got the credential here. I paste here. Yeah, should be working. And now I think I'm using AWS, and it's working. So I'm bypassing the rate limit stuff. And I've got my 50 items. If I'm going back to Scrapoxy interface, I can see on the request that every proxy receives some amount of requests, and I can check that also on the matrix. I've got 61 requests. Perfect. But it's a simple use case. I will move to the next level, so level 4. And if I'm running again this information, I've got a big error, which is data centers are forbidden. It's what I just explained. The antibot system knows the data center from this IP address, and the data center it's in small, but it's Amazon 2. So what I can do now is to use an ISP proxy provider like Rayobyte, which provide very nice and very useful IP address. So I don't have to touch to my spider. I will just add a connector to Scrapoxy. So I can use the Rayobyte credentials. I need 10 proxy, and I already have some subscription, Germany, UK, and 2 in US. If I'm adding that, yeah. I'm adding another one. I will use the second subscriptions. Perfect. And I'm starting that. I will also stop my AWS because I'm paying. So I don't want that. So as you see, it's just stopping the virtual machine, so I don't have to pay when my scraping session is finished. And I've got US IP address. I can confirm that on the coverage. So yes, it's been on all over the US. Now I can start again my spider. And as you see, it is doing all the requests. So I'm not on a data center anymore. And I will get my 50 items. Yeah. So that was nice, but now let's increase the level of difficulty. Modern antibot system relies on fingerprint. So if I'm increasing the level to level 5, I'm running back again the spider, I've got a big error, which is no fingerprint. And it's all about fingerprinting, because modern antibot system fingerprint your browsers. So let's open the browser and check all the requests. I remove the filters. Oh, there is something new. The browser is sending a lot of information to the server at regular interface. So I can check what are the payload. Oh, that's not good. So the browser is sending the GPU informations, the real user agents of the browser, not the spoof one from Scrapy, and the time zone. So I cannot use Scrapy only anymore. I need to start a real browser, to execute the request and get the response. And to do that, I will use a very well-known project, which is Playwright. So Playwright, yeah, is a headless browser. It will be helpful for the demo, but it's headless browser, so it can run inside the Dockers. It's Scrappy compatible, you can execute JavaScript, and also you can use Chrome, Firefox, Edge, and Safari. And the beauty, it's open source and maintained by Microsoft. So that's a good one. I will modify my Spider to use Playwright. So I will open a new Spider. It's the same, just adapted. So as you see, I've got my parsehotel method, get review. I didn't touch anything. However, I just modify the download handler. So instead of using the Scrappy for the request, it will use Playwright. I also added some some meta information, sorry. So if I'm running that, you will see that Scrappy will open. Oh, it's not the good one, sorry, it's this one. So Scrappy now take a little bit more time to open a navigator. As you see, I'm navigating on the home page, full automations. Now I'm going to the list of items. It takes a little bit of time because it's a real browser. And I will navigate on the different links on the pagination. And finally, I will get the item, the hotel items. I will stop there because it's a little bit long. And when I'm opening the browser sends the fingerprint. So I'm allowed to go to the website. But of course, the antibot system is smarter. The antibot system will check inconsistency between the browsers and the other stack. So let's move to the next level. So if I'm moving to level 6, it will open the browsers. But the thing is, after going to the home page and sending the fingerprint, if I'm going to the list of items, I will be blocked. And here I've got inconsistent user agent. It's because we are sending a different user agent from the browser than the spoof one from Scrappy. So I will just copy-paste this one. Yep, copy-paste here. And run again the Spider. So now I just align the browser stack and the HTTP header stack. Oh, I've got an error. Yeah, for sure. Because I need here to be a Linux. Perfect. So I'm opening the home page. When doing that, I'm sending the fingerprint. And now I will bypass the user agent. So there is another error. It's a time zone issue. It's because the browser is based in, I configured to be based in Europe, Paris, but the IP address is the US. Yes, there is 7-hour difference. So I need to change that in my spiders. On my spider, I can ask to Puppeteer to change the time zone and to be America and Chicago. So if I'm running again, this time, the Spider, I have aligned the HTTP header stack and the browser stack, and the IP stack, which is in the US, with the browser stack also. And it's working. Of course, you can find a lot of protection. You can find CAPTCHA, which can be solved with AI CAPTCHA. You can find also an encrypted payload. So the fingerprint is encrypted, and you need to reverse engineering the JavaScript to know the signal that you need to emulate. And of course, in the real world, the anti-bot system never gives you the reason why you are banned. So thank you very much. Download Scrapoxy and join Wiremind.
All right. So thank you, first of all. And please join me. So it's the time that I was waiting for. So please take this trophy.
Thank you very much.
Trophy. Another round of applause. So I believe it's a really good talk. I don't know how many of you have ever tried to scrape something. A lot. Maybe with Booking, I don't know, Skyscanner or other. So are there any questions? Yes, one.
Thank you. Very interesting talk. I have a question with Scrapoxy or something similar. What if HTML or CSS change? So there is something that can adapt maybe with something, I don't know.
What you can encounter is more A/B testing. So you have most of the time a version of the website, and 10% of the time they change. So it's very difficult to reproduce because when you are coding your scrapper, you don't have the 10% website. So you have to try. Also, when you are writing your scrapper, there is technique, but it's very difficult if you have a lot of informations to correctly extract that. If you have 5 information in a web page, you can use LLM models. It works very well. It's only 5, but it's not a real-world examples. But if you are perhaps 10, 20, 50 data points to extract, clearly you have to do that manually.
Hey, I have a dumb question. So, is this legal? Because I'm just wondering, like, from the website point of view, there's a lot of traffic coming, but it's not genuine traffic from interested users. It's just you web scraping. So I'm wondering if there's any legal basis of some issues in terms of services about the website.
Very good question about legal point of web scraping. First, don't do a DDoS. So you have to monitor the timeout. It's not web scraping, it's an attack. If you accept that, so you connect correctly to the website, there is many stuff to understand. First, do you log in? If you are logged in, most of the time, you need to accept terms and conditions. And in terms and conditions, 100% of the time, there is scraping is not allowed. But when you are connecting to Amazon, to all retail websites, flying websites, whatever, which are not using personal data, you are just getting the data. So it's legal. And there is a use case now with Meta and Bright Data, so a very well-known scrapping company, which allow you to scrap. But the legality part is always changing. But remember, if you are not doing DDoS, not scrapping private data, so username, address, and so on, you can do.
All right. So
Any other questions?
it's legal until you get caught.
Question. This is more related to the, let's say, the business use of Scrapoxy. Is there a way to have metrics exposed from outside of Scrapoxy so I can monitor, I don't know, failures or errors or AWS or cloud costs, stuff like that?
You can monitor a lot of things with Scrapoxy on the metrics, the bandwidth, if it's working. I'm going to implement also about response status, so if the request is working or not. Scrapoxy is doing also TLS interception, so it can analyze clearly the content, the response. If you need cost, it's not implemented, you have to go directly in your AWS. But you will get the bill at the end.
We have another question there.
A question about the last example you did with the time zone. What about I create on Scrapoxy like multiple geolocated proxies, and I want to move the time zone patch for the browser on Scrapoxy. Is that possible? Because you did that on the Python script.
Yep.
But what about I go from China and then I patched US and that doesn't work?
Yeah, the best feedback to use that on Scrapoxy is more to define project by zone. So you have a US-based project, you will have data center, ISP, and so on. The same in Asia and the same in Europe. And you choose one, you can select one, and you say first, on my browser, I set a time zone, Europe time zone, so I will use a project on Europe. It's because you cannot change as you want the time zone on the browser. That's the issue is on the browser. You have to stop the browser, shut down everything, and restart a new one. And if you want to be fast, you have to keep the session of the browser.
Any other questions?
Behind you.
Sorry, maybe it's a naive question, but in the end you used playwrights, but I think it might be used as well to do scraping from the beginning. Why did you choose to?
There are many frameworks for browsers. There is also Puppeteer, there is Selenium, but the most compatible with Scrapy, which is, as you see, I didn't modify my spiders, is Playwright. But at the beginning, they didn't create a scraping browser. Playwright is used for tests like Puppeteers. So it's front-end tests. But in the reality, it's clearly most used in web scraping industry. Yeah. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
And it's also multi-language. So Node, Python, and Java maybe?
Sorry?
Playwright, it's supporting also Node for sure, and Python, and I don't remember the last one. It could be Java.
Puppeteer?
Playwright.
Playwright,
Yeah.
I didn't get the question,
Yeah,
sorry.
sorry, yeah, I was just adding some more information about Playwright, which is a multi-language library.
Yeah.
So it's supporting not only Python, but also Node and other.
Yeah, it's very nice because there is not so much framework which support so many browsers. And Puppeteer are not supporting so much browsers. Yeah.
All right, so if there are no any more questions,
can I do one last?
Yes, you can and you should.
Thank you. Maybe, Fabien, this is slightly out of scope, you tell me, but how do you handle web scraping when your inputs are different? Okay, in your case, you have one website and all the pages are the same, etc. If you have to web scrape, for example, magazines or newspapers from different countries, which are the, let's say, best technologies right now to handle this? Or approaches, I don't know.
So if you have different type of content, but you have a small amount to extract, clearly the large language model are winning the game. So because they can adapt to the different type of contents. Was it your questions? Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
So I believe there are no more questions. If there are some questions unanswered, please find Fabien in the aperitif or somewhere else, or on the internet. So thank you again.
Thank you very much.